Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. We are now headed into the final hour of our program and time for our second discussion of the morning. So, you may or may not know that getting enough sleep is important in maintaining our everyday health and general ability to function throughout the day. However, during Ramadan, social gatherings, which often run late into the night, can interfere with our sleep cycle, which can then alter our sleeping and eating habits.
That's right, Paul, and that can also upset our biological clocks and affect our health in general. So how do we get better sleep during Ramadan? Now let's find out the answer from the expert, sleep educator Vishal Dasani. Welcome, Vishal. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me again.
So I think first of all, can you share with our audience the importance of sleep and the effect if we get sleep deprivation?
Okay, so to begin with, getting enough sleep is very important for our day-to-day functioning. It is very important to maintain physical, mental, and emotional health in the long run. And what ends up happening if we don't get enough is our health begins to deteriorate. We lose our ability to focus. We lose our ability to become more empathetic towards others. And then cranky, moody, we snap easier. And slowly but steadily, we start losing our ability to maintain optimal health, physical health. Our immune function goes down, and then there is a risk for us to develop type 2 diabetes, and then obesity will increase, and many other side effects that we don't enjoy it.
Okay.
So yeah.
So now we're entering the month of Ramadan, and on a non-Ramadan sleep cycle, people would generally sleep 7 or 8 hours, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so what is usually the sleep cycle like for people now during Ramadan? Like, for example, for me, it hasn't made much of a difference because most of the time we wake up for the morning show, which is around the time that people wake up for sahur.
Yes.
But for others that are used to waking up at a later time and going to the office, they now have to wake up kind of in the middle of the night.
Yes.
And what's the next step? Do they go back to sleep for another 2 hours and then wake up to start activities? What's your take on this?
So during Ramadan, yes, there has been many studies that show that people do experience a shorter sleep duration.
Okay.
And they get fragmented sleep. And towards morning, when we enjoy most of our sleep in the REM phase, which is the dreaming state,
Right.
we get that disturbance. So we don't get enough of REM sleep.
You don't sleep long enough to get into
Yes,
that sleep.
we get very less. We get in the beginning of the night,
Right.
but towards morning, that's when we get our maximum REM sleep. So we don't get enough because it gets disturbed. Yes.
So what's the solution then? Because for some, they would think, well, I'll just go to sleep a bit earlier, but then that's cutting into your eating time during Ramadan, right? You also
Yes.
want to maximize that because you're not breaking fast till
Yes.
6. So what's your advice when it comes to Ramadan? How do you maximize the best possible sleep?
So this month is actually a bit tricky, Paul.
Yeah.
Because studies have found that during this month, the duration is reduced by about 1 hour.
Is that total duration?
Total sleep duration.
Okay.
But what I would advise or suggest to those performing the fast is make sure you get at least 5.5 to 6 hours.
Okay.
And you can actually do it in installments.
Okay, so you can have that fragment.
You can that, yes. So what, in general, there are 3 sleeping patterns. Number 1 is monophasic, in which you sleep one time in 24-hour cycle.
Okay.
Which is like the one block of 7 to 9 hours.
That one is ideal, I assume.
That is the most commonly used.
Okay.
People with steady schedule can adopt that pattern.
Okay.
But for those who do not have steady work schedule and everything, it's difficult to follow that monophasic sleeping pattern. The second pattern is called biphasic, in which you sleep twice in a cycle of 24 hours. The major sleeping blocks is still at night, and then the shorter part is during afternoon nap.
Like a nap, okay.
Like a nap.
Like that.
So napping
Yes,
is good.
Napping is good. Okay, that was going to be my next follow-up.
Napping is good. The third one is called polyphasic, in which you sleep more than 2 times in a 24 hours. Still, the major block is at night, and then you distribute small naps throughout the day.
How small are we talking here?
let's say power naps,
Oh, okay.
20
15
minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, that's good. So during Ramadan, this is what I would advise to the people out there is that adopt a biphasic or a polyphasic sleeping patterns.
Right.
Throughout that month.
Yes.
So you can actually go back to sleep after your sahur if you have
It depends.
time.
If you have the time and if your work schedule is a bit flexible,
Right.
then you can. But if you cannot, then of course we have to find another way.
Okay.
Either, and it all depends on when do you eat, because
That's right.
eating does play a big role in getting a good night's sleep.
Okay.
When you distribute most of your meal towards night and it cuts close to your bedtime, then it gets difficult for you to fall off to sleep.
Okay.
So what you can do is that don't eat too late, which helps you to not sleep too late,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
which can actually get you around 4.5 to 6 hours night sleep.
Yeah.
Then the remaining you can distribute nicely.
Okay.
So just as an illustration, because usually people break fast at like 6 p.m., right?
Yes.
How much of a time you need to for it to cool down, and then for you to
After
be able
eating,
to,
you mean, right?
After eating, and then for you to go to sleep and get the most optimum sleep.
Let's say that the pre-dawn meal or suhoor time is around 4.
Yeah, around. Yeah, most people would say.
Let's pull around 4.5 hours. So which is around 11:30 or 11 o'clock. Which means that if you sleep by 11 o'clock, give 8:30 as your last meal time. At least you have 2.5 hours to digest your food.
Is that right? Okay. Wow, I'm nowhere close to that. I usually eat very close to the time I have to sleep because, as you know, we have to sleep a bit earlier
Yeah.
than the general public
Yeah.
when it comes to waking up and doing
Yeah.
this program. So I'm already kind of used to the waking up schedule.
Yes.
But it doesn't really bother me too much to eat
Yeah.
closer to mealtime. I guess that's per person basis, right?
Of course.
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
probably need around 2 to 3 hours to digest the food
Yes.
for you to get an optimum sleep.
Yes.
Now, talking about optimum sleep, you mentioned about quantity. What about quality of sleep? How do you make sure that you get the best quality during Ramadan?
Okay, so number one, to ensure that you get good quality is make sure that your schedule is regular. Sleep quality is a byproduct of a regular sleep timing. So if your timing is off, like every day you do not perform or you do not preach consistent sleep timings, then your quality gets off track.
Right.
But if you sleep more or less the same timing and you wake up more or less the same timing, then quality is under your control.
Right. So, and again, I want to go back to food for this question is, can quality of food affect the quality of sleep? Like what we're eating? Because a lot of times during Ramadan, we're fasting all day and we just want to eat everything that's in front of our
Yeah.
faces. And how does that affect us then?
It does, to some extent, play a role in determining your sleep quality. And if you have too much of spicy foods, of course, it triggers
Right. Like, for
uneasy
example,
feeling.
bloating and things like that sort.
Yes.
Okay.
So it does affect meal timing, meal quantity, and meal types. Like what do you consume does play a role in determining your sleep quality.
Can you share with us like the ideal quantity or also quality of food that can help you to get an optimum sleep?
Well, I think I'll be stepping into the role of a nutritionist.
Nutrition
which I'm
zone.
not. So yeah, I'm so sorry. I won't be able to give
Probably there's a lot of issue regarding overeating, right?
Yes.
But overeating can actually disturb your sleeping pattern.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would actually advise that make sure, irrespective of which month are we right now, whether it's the month of Ramadan or the normal months for that matter, just make sure you get enough of balanced meals.
Yeah, I noticed that. No, Rash is very mindful when it comes to those things, right? Getting a wide variety of foods. So let's talk about, excuse me, the other thing that sometimes we need to adjust for when it comes to the month of Ramadan, which is exercising. Right? Exercise can give people better sleep. I mean, I have myself experienced much better sleep if I'm routinely exercising and less so if I'm not. Now, a month of Ramadan tends, especially the first week, throws everyone off. I don't know if I should be exercising the first week because do I have the energy for it? But will that affect my sleep now, and how so when it comes to physical activity?
So when it comes to physical activity, yes, you're right. It does improve sleep in terms of a duration as well as quality. And I totally understand that during the month of Ramadan, we need to take a step back, slow down a bit in terms of our exercises. Don't go too hard. because at the end, if you go too hard, the body will try to compensate by eating a lot more.
True.
Yeah.
So that, and normally when we go hard workouts, it won't happen during morning. It'll happen towards the night where we are fully fed,
Okay.
we have the energy, we can go hard during that time.
So evening workouts, right?
When is the best time to work out actually during Ramadan?
Multiple timings actually.
Oh,
It's before breaking the fast, just slightly before,
okay.
So,
So
5
that-
p.m.-ish?
so that you don't get thirsty,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then you can immediately break your fast. After breaking your fast, or after night dinner.
Okay. See, I can't exercise after I eat. So I used to, in previous years, I would always exercise, like you said, like 4:30. I go for a light workout,
Yeah.
something low intensity for
Yeah.
the first week or two, and then I get super thirsty, and I can just break my
Yes,
fast. But then I can kind of ramp up the intensity as the month goes along,
Yes.
because I'm getting more used to it.
Yes,
my body
yes,
needs
yes.
it less.
That's
How-
absolutely right.
Now, I'm in a bit of a bind here where I now wake up very early. I don't go back to sleep, and we have our morning coffee during sahur. But then, if distance wise, it just makes more sense for me to exercise after work, which
Yeah.
would mean I have all my activities done by noon, and then I have nothing else to do. If I get too much sleep after that, because I love to take just a long nap after that, like since I won't be having lunch, get home after noon or 1 p.m., I'll take a long nap. Will that interrupt my sleep cycle? Because I've heard that if you nap too long or too much throughout the day, then you're going to get lower quality sleep at night, that big block.
It wouldn't be lower quality, it'll just be slight difficulty in falling off to sleep.
At
Because it's like this, Paul. You are about to eat dinner, but just before dinner, you indulge yourself in a large snack.
Okay, got it.
So by the time dinner time comes, why are you not eating? I'm not hungry. I just had some.
Appetite's not there as usual.
So it's same like napping.
Okay.
If you do too much, then at the end you may not feel sleepy enough to fall off to sleep.
Okay. So how long is the max we're talking here for a for a decent nap? I mean, power naps excluded.
So let's say about 90 minutes.
Oh, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
but
those nights.
there is a but there.
Oh,
There's
what's
a but. The timing matters.
Ah.
So when you do 90 minutes and you do it late in the evening, of course, it's going to affect your night's sleep.
Keep it on earlier on in the day.
Yes,
Like-
between 12 to 3,
Ooh,
in that
I
range.
love that.
That's perfect for
That's
you,
exactly
for your
what I'm going to do
schedule.
today. I already have that in my agenda. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And enlightening us, because it is the first day of Ramadan, and people do have to kind of readjust all their schedules, sleep especially.
Yes.
Thanks for dropping by once
Thank
again.
you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, Vishal.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we're up for another short break now. We'll have our special segment after the break, Salam Ramadan. So stay with us only on the C Morning Show. We'll be right back.